Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, the end of May 2023, and we are at phase 2 of our balloon launch that we hope to do. We will do. There
We
is a
will.
will. We will do this summer of 2023 with the intent of sending a balloon around the world at least once. And Mr. Han offered to buy everybody beer if it goes twice around the world.
I would do that.
So
Yeah,
we want to go to phase 2 on this particular program. Where are we today? What's been going on, and what is the future? So with that, let me pass it over to my colleague, Mr. Kurt Dale Han, and he will introduce our wonderful guest today.
Thank you, sir. We have Jenny with us, Jenny Zimmerman, KN6 SRE, who is our research person, our chief cheerleader, idea person, and go-getter. Craig is our software guy, for a lack of a software development engineer, whatever. He's done all the programming for the radio and the tracking. Not present is Ernie, who's actually K6EOM, who actually built the payload. And kind of where we're at right now is we got to figure out the final construction of attaching the payload to the balloon, inflating the balloon, and then away we go.
Okay. How much time have we been? When did we start this project officially? In April?
April, something like that.
April 2023. And this is part of a team that said, we move forward with the project.
Yeah.
Well, let's find out how they're doing as well.
Okay.
Let's first of all, let me pose a question. How do you feel about the project? And we'll start with Jenny. Jenny, how do you feel about the project?
Well, for me, like the rest of the world, getting excited about having the Chinese balloon float around made everybody aware that this actually could be done. And doing the research that I did a little bit, this project could be done by people who are as amateur as I am. We are fortunate in our club to have people so technically talented that could put this together to the point that we are now. We have a payload that's assembled. When they opened the box, I looked at that and I went, but these guys didn't. They took one look at that, and having the technical talent that they have, they knew what went where and how to do it. They knew how to solder. They knew what to do. And having this gentleman here have the technical knowledge on how to, or at least to get the knowledge of how to do the programming, we're already there. So we have an assembly payload, we have programming all set, and we have a little bit of testing done. And I could not be more excited. I think this is going to be just the neatest thing. And I'm going to just, I want us to commemorate it with something, no matter how far we get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me take you back to, since we haven't talked before, let me take you back to the very first time you heard the idea. Guys, would you like to put a balloon up in the sky? And I assume Mr. Han presented it to you guys. What was your first reaction at that moment? Even if it was like, oh, this is crazy.
Well, mine was, Yahoo! I thought it's a fantastic idea. I mean, it could be done, especially, like I said, the aftermath of the Chinese incident, and then investigate and find out other people have done this. And they did it long before this Chinese incident. This is kind of like a happening for groups and clubs and things, and it certainly could be done. And when I saw what they did, and I thought, well, we can do that. And then things started rolling. I was just so excited I couldn't even sit in my chair.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing that. And we'll come back with you to a second question as well. Let me move on with Craig Douglas. Craig, same question I posed to you. How did you feel about this project when you first heard about it?
Oh, it looked like it'd be fun. First thing that surprised me about it is that a lot of ham radio operators and ham radio clubs have been doing this for quite a while, and I'd never heard of it before. I've been in ham radio for a little over 10 years now, which is not very long by some standards. But what surprised me is that it's been a kind of a thing that's been happening for a long time. I think what got my interest was first the Chinese balloon that got shot down, and then second, the probability that a ham radio club's balloon got shot down. That's never been confirmed. But when I heard about that, I thought, oh, we're ham radio operators. This looks like something that we could do. Not because we want to see it get shot down, but we want to see something go around the Earth a few times. And I was following another ham radio's balloon for quite some time, and his balloon made several trips around the Earth. And so I thought this would be a blast if we could do it ourselves.
Where was that other balloon, the one that went around the world several times? Was it initially launched?
Tempe, Arizona.
Tempe,
yeah.
Arizona.
Mhm.
Now, is this sort of a quick question before I ask the same question to Mr. Hahn? Are there many clubs that do this just in the United States, or is it worldwide?
I think there's not very many clubs that do this. And the reason why I know this is because I finally found the site where we can register our balloon to get it tracked. I've seen the list of balloons that they are currently tracking. It's a short list of about 20 to 25 balloons. Now, there are thousands upon thousands of ham radio operators all over the world, and clubs and everything. So there are not thousands and thousands of balloons. There's probably between 25 and 30 that are amateur radio balloons that originated from the United States. And there's different kinds of balloons. There are balloons that go up once, pop, and come back down, go across the European continent, pop, and come down. Our balloon is going to circle the Earth several times, hopefully as many times as it can. So not many ham radio operators are doing this.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Mr. Hahn, let me present the question to you. How did you react to the idea of the project?
Why not? Let's go for it. If you never try, you never succeed. And that was what got me interested, was the challenge. Can we do this? Can we do this? And that's what fired me up.
And can we do it? Here we are.
I know we can do it. I know we can do it. I'm not sure the results, but I know it'll go up.
Wonderful. Well, let me pose question number 2. What phase of this project caught your attention and your interest? Because there's been many phases, and different people are interjecting at different points. But for each person in the group with us today, what phase of this project is really of greater interest to you? Jenny?
Well, for me, I was amazed that there was already a kit available that could be assembled to attach to a balloon. It's ready made. And when Kurt told us about that, I went, this is fantastic, because some of the research that I had done, the payload that went up with the balloon, it was a camera, a GoCam. It wasn't necessarily a broadcasting beacon, but they were able to see where the balloon went themselves, 2 or 3 of them. And then I meshed the two together, looking in my search that there were ham radio people that could load software and program software to send out a beacon. Then it could be tracked way past what a GoCam could do. That to me was the most exciting thing, because if this could get out of the county, I was going to be thrilled to death. Let alone, I found out, like Kurt and Craig were saying, went around the world a couple of times. I almost fell out of this chair when I saw that. I saw that one balloon that went, I tracked it, and it went around the world 3 times just while I was watching it, or tracking it rather. And if they can do it, heck, we can do it.
So our goal is to go 4 times then.
Sure, I'll even go 5. That's my goal, 5.
We started a balloon Olympics here.
Hey, we're getting to the what do you call that book? Guinness Book of Records, 5 times around for maybe the size or maybe the payload. There's got to be something that we can get in the book for. Sure.
Wow, we in one of these interviews, this idea came about. Now you've taken it to the next level above that. So
Sure. Let's
Oh,
get the Guinness Book.
let's get everybody together on that whole idea. What do you guys think of that idea?
I don't know what the record is, nor to beat the record.
Hey, I'll find out, boss. I'll find out.
Well, like Jenny said, from the time she and I started watching this one particular balloon launched from Tempe, Arizona, that's when we started counting. But how many times it went around before then, I don't know. But I'm sad to say that balloon is no longer flying.
I tried to find it. I couldn't find it either. So
I found its last reported position, and you can draw your conclusions from that, but it's no longer flying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here's a question that I have. I'm sort of thinking on the fly, and I'm also open to your questions as well. And I'm sort of thinking out loud with all of you. How does the public track our balloon? And B, how can they let us know that they tracked it, wherever it happened to be?
Well, I don't think you can track it by vision. It has to be done probably on the internet or by the telemetry it sends out, and that is beaconed to something, and then you can access whoever beacons that. So the public would have to have knowledge and access on how to do that. But I mean, you're talking something that I just learned how high it went. We're talking 20, 30, 40,000 feet. No one can see that. You
No.
can't see that in the sky. So it'd have to be something they'd have to know about and track via software.
To answer your question, this is the part of the project that has given me the most headaches. But the direct answer to your question is there is a website that people can go to, and then they can search by ham radio call sign. Our balloon will have a ham radio call sign, plus the dash number of 11, meaning that it's a balloon, not a car or a truck or a person, but a balloon.
Hey, wait a minute. If Elon can put his car in space, why can't we?
Well, the tracking website tracks a lot of things, not just balloons. But if they go to the website and they enter our ham radio call sign and the correct dash number, they will be able to track our balloon. Anybody who has a computer, smartphone, or anything will be able to track our balloon.
Well, they're going to have to set up a public service announcement just on, how to log on whenever we have a launch date already set in stone. And we'll ask people around the world and in our networks to help us out and be part of the project.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
That's sort of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. And we're going to start thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll open it up to everyone.
What? Go ahead, Craig.
Oh, and Jenny mentioned that we built it from a kit. Now, it sounds like it was really easy. It was not. Buying stuff on the internet is really easy. Putting it together with the instructions, that's easy. The part that I was tasked with that gave me fits was how to be able to track this balloon. There's a lot of balloonists that will track a balloon I'm talking about the ones that fly up once, pop, and come back down. They're using their own radios. They're beaconing out to their own radios. But how do you track something that's out no longer in the range of your radio? So researching that part, finding out there's a network for beaconing to, and how to get on that network, and then how to get that network to rebroadcast your position on that public website that anybody can go to, was the part that gave me the biggest headache, because it was really hard to find this information, and there's a lot of tremendous amount of information that's just not applicable anymore, because the people at this particular website keeps changing their stuff. And so developers had a hard time keeping up with them. But I have found a great place to get our balloon registered where other people go, and it should be just working fantastic.
Well, I understand also that you've been testing it, so it wasn't just an assembly, but you've been also, putting it inside the lab and going through it over and over and over again.
Yes, yes. This past week I was jury rigged an antenna that's similar to the antenna that Kurt and Ernie put together, but I didn't want to use that one because this antenna, well, every time I picked it up and took it someplace, I was dragging 33 feet of antenna behind me. And it was just getting abused and stepped on and kinked, but it was still transmit. So I did a lot of testing and making sure it would transmit, making sure you're going to receive it, making sure that the reporting facility was putting it on AMAP and all that good stuff. So let me tell you something about this broadcasting. I got the antenna 7 feet off the ground in my backyard. At one time, I had 7 different reporting stations that heard it from Northern California to Arizona. That's 7 feet off the ground. Now, can you imagine how many reporting facilities or stations will hear it when it's at 40,000 feet off the ground? That's the exciting part.
I can imagine, I have a scenario in my head where you are in your backyard putting these things and wires and all this, and maybe your neighbors are walking by and watching them and says, well, dear, I think Craig finally lost it.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't wear a little tinfoil hat, we're okay.
What I worry about is the antenna is 36 gauge wire. Have you ever seen 36 gauge wire? It's like a human hair. And that's how small this antenna is. I'm worried about people walking by and see me do this.
Yeah.
As if I'm doing something with my hands because they can't see what I'm holding. It's so small. Or I'm doing this. Like that. And they
Here, I think Craig lost it. I told you he'd lose it sooner or later.
Oh, you should see this stuff. The first time we did any handling of that antenna wire, I thought they were kidding me. This is going to go up a ton. You could barely, a human hair is being quite accurate. It was very thin. And I thought, how is this going to stay attached and be attached? But when our club is fortunate enough to have people that know about stuff like this, I get to bear the fruit of their labors because I'm not that technical at all, but he is, and he is. And I'm just like, hey, you did good.
I
didn't mean to in any way imply that this was easy. By no means was this easy. And I understand when this gentleman here has issue with things or has difficulty, it must be monumental because he's a real smart guy. So anyway.
So when did any of you find yourself at a moment where I said, so why in the heck am I doing this? The heck with it. I'm not doing this.
Not me. Not me. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's go.
It's that attitude that's going to make this project happen and occur as all the way around. I have another question. Is this project, given what little we know so far, and again, the launch part is, coming up soon, is this a project that students in a high school or middle school could do as part of their school project in the future?
Yes, as long as there's at least one member that's a licensed ham radio operator. That'd be one stumbling block for somebody who wanted to get into this. You got to be a licensed ham radio technician, or at least at least can I say at least the highest level, the extra level.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are formal steps person would have to go through, i.e. teacher or the students themselves, but it is a project that you foresee could be done by students in different parts of the world.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it could be.
Okay, well, we're sending out a message right now on this show that if somewhere out there in the middle of nowhere wants to think about the project, start thinking about it. Once we finish launching, we'll be available to answer questions and Q&A with people and help them launch theirs, hopefully well in the future.
Well, there are plenty of students that have ham licenses, far even above my own. I'm a technician, and there have people that have a ham license higher levels than mine that could very well do this. So,
Okay, well, we're gonna give the responsibility to Jenny to do a call out. Jenny, I'm gonna pass it over back to you. You do the call out to those students and tell them to go for it.
okay, students, listen, the project we're taking on here, you can achieve too. You can tell from some of what we were talking about, how to start and some of the pitfalls you're gonna encounter. And we're not exactly sure how it's gonna finish, but I'm sure this will progress more where you can find out what it is. But you do things in steps, do all the research, get as much information as you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions. There are lots of people who will be more than happy to answer questions for you and give you information, but you have to ask. And it's a wonderful project for a group, but get a bunch of people in the group, not 2 or 3 or 4, get more, because what we're talking about, all of us together are smarter than any one of us. The more you have, the more this you're going to have, and the better off you're going to be. And it's a wonderful project. And we just told you a few of the pitfalls that we found out about ourselves. I'm sure you'll find your own. So, hey, if this sounds like something you really want to do, it's really exciting. And we'll let you know how it turns out.
Yeah, we'll
More
keep the
to-
camera on. It will go up. It will go up. How
Absolutely.
now from there where it'll go? Hey,
Well, let me just add to what Jenny said. For somebody to get into this, you're going to learn more than just ham radio. You're going to learn about global winds, the jet streams, and how the winds in the upper altitude blow around the earth all the time. These winds are blowing all the time. You're going to learn a little bit about weather and things like that, and what the jet stream is about, what global winds are about, and why this balloon is always going from west to east. You're going to learn about that also. And also the speed in which this, once it gets trapped in a jet stream, the speed in which this balloon will go along. So it's more than just ham radio.
like to go over to Mr. Han here. He's, I know you were a teacher and you taught in the trade classes in the high school. Is this something that should be limited only to the students, perhaps only in the electronic department?
No, no. This ideally would tie the science department together. Your shop classes, for lack of a better term, math, how much, you got to figure out how much gas you got to use to reach a certain altitude. And there is no, it takes a joint effort. You could tie, if you tie it together, you draw upon everybody's expertise. Matter of fact, if your school has for lack of a better word, a computer technology class, there's a certain amount of programming you got to do. So if you tie everybody's experiences together, anybody can do it. At least that's my opinion.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking of the idea that we're going to put together a sort of a how-to clip, and not make it too long, maybe 5 minutes. And we'll find ways of making it multiple languages and encourage students, who throughout the world to try it. But I'm also going to pass it back to Craig. And Craig, tell us about your speech, your talk for adults who have their own ham radio and maybe want to take this idea back to their group.
Start off with simple. I would say that, hey, this is a lot of fun. Would you like to learn about a ham radio balloon that can go around the earth, and you can watch it on any old website? Then get into more detail. It's about the weather. It's about global winds. What happens when it transmits? Who gets the signal? How does it get back up? What is done with that information? And you get deeper and deeper into it. You can get more complicated, and but start off with simple. Hey, a balloon that goes around the earth. Isn't that neat? How does it work? And then work from there.
I am excited. You guys have excited me. So what is the next phase we go from here? When do we say, okay, it's ready to launch?
Final construction, where everything is all put together, which won't take that long. Putting gas in it before we get to this launch site is probably not a good idea.
Why not?
Hey, you can see the car going up as it's trying to drive.
But tentatively, the idea is now you got to find a date and a place. And we have a place picked out towards Barstow. Uh,
You do know that's the middle of the desert, right?
that's why I want to go there,
Okay.
because I don't want to launch the thing and find out that an American Airlines jet sucked it up on its approach to LAX. That would be a good thing. So if we take it out in the middle of nowhere, Barstow area, and launch it.
Sorry, Barstow, that was his comment, not mine.
No, if we take it out towards Barstow, you don't have to worry so much about local traffic.
Right, right.
So it's a matter of a date and a time, because apparently, according to Jenna, we got to notify FAA that we're launching this thing. And I think that's just a phone call, saying, hey, we're going to do this. A date and a time, and should be ready to go.
Okay, I'm going to put it out there. I think the big issue right now is, first of all, I congratulate everyone for all their hard work, whether they're here with us today or not, but everybody's contributing. I think we need to make a short video. We'll, plan on this in the very near future so that we highlight and educate people how to follow and track our balloon. I think that's critical from my perspective, because as they track us, they can see how far success we got, whether it was a couple of miles or around the world 10 times. I'm throwing that to you over there. Jenny is part of our record. Our goal just keeps expanding. But by the same token, share with the public how they can follow our balloon and get back to us and keep us on track and make this a general group project. Come and join us. And that's the atmosphere I feel between all of you.
Yeah. That's my goal, is to prove that we can do this. That was my goal. Not, if you fear failure, you're never going to go anywhere.
Wonderful. Well, we're ready to close. And with that, let me also give Jenny and Craig their thoughts as we close this show.
Well, we're not done yet. We're going to finish our project, and I'm taking a lot of bows for stuff that I didn't do. These gentlemen here are the workhorses. I'm just one of the ones that gets to ride along on the coattails. But I'll do whatever needs to be done, even if it's being the sideline cheerleader. That's great. And when we are done, I know that I'd like to commemorate it, or my idea would be maybe attach a postcard somewhere in the payload saying, when you find this, mail it back to, I don't know. That's goofy, but
No. That's great.
Well, that's reminiscent of a project we did in kindergarten. In kindergarten, we released balloons and we tied postcards to them, and whoever balloon went the furthest got a prize. And it was like a ice cream from somewhere, and it was great. And mine ended up in New Mexico. I didn't win. Somebody's ended up in New Hampshire or something. It was like, wow. So it was great. But when this project concludes, I would like to look back at it and say, this club, I was part of that, and we did this. And this is great. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And you can do it too. And this is the fruits of our labor here. Watch step one. Let's chronicleize it and make it how-to project or something. I don't know. But our failures will be everybody else's successes. Let's just hope we don't have many. That's my hope.
I think if we do it, there is no failure.
Absolutely.
If we did it, I think the only failure is not doing it. I'm going to go back to that. Craig, your thoughts?
My thoughts, this is similar to any other project. Say a large corporation builds an airplane for the first time, and the first one is the most difficult and takes the longest to make and put together, and it's a learning process. In this particular project for this club, it took a lot longer than I expected it to last. However, there's been some murmuring about launching another balloon, and I can guarantee you it will not take as long the second time around, because we've completed a lot of the hurdles of learning in the first project. So the second project will go faster, and a third or fourth or whatever. Curtis talked about other projects he'd like to do, but first we're going to get this one off the ground and see how we do.
Jenny, I think I read between the lines of what Craig said. I'm hearing 20 times around the planet now with all our expertise. I'm making all this up. I don't know. Hey, you know what? I just think that I feel and I sense that our learning curve has just gone straight up. And thanks to everyone contributing and being part of this project and taking on a lot of little responsibilities that put the whole project together. So I applaud everyone. I congratulate everyone. It really, at the end of the day, doesn't really matter whether it does go around the world. That's the goal, but I think the learning curve is more important than anything. And the best thing of all, that I've gotten the opportunity to meet all of you. And that has been just outstanding. I can't thank you enough for that. So it's been fun to do. So I'm going to close the show today and thank everyone for being on the program. And you'll get an email from me to begin the process of putting together a short clip video, how to track our balloon. And then as we get closer, we'll sign out the date on it as well. So
Wave, Dave.
thank you very much. Okay,
You're
we'll see
welcome.
everybody later. All right, thank you for being on the program, and we'll keep everybody posted. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Goodbye.